The daughter of a Quebecois mother and French-Moroccan father, Nicolette Deneuve had unfortunately inherited her father's stocky physique and her mother's sharp nose. Ignatiev thought her unlovely, and yet there was a charm to her, a gamine-like wide-eyed innocence that beguiled Ignatiev's crusty old heart. She was a physicist, bright and conscientious, not an engineering monkey like the braggart Gregorian. Thus it was a tragedy that she had been selected for this star mission. She finally turned away from Gregorian to say to Ignatiev, "It's good to see you, Professor Ignatiev. You've become something of a hermit these past few months." He coughed and muttered, "I've been busy on my research." The truth was he couldn't bear to be among these youngsters, couldn't stand the truth that they would one day return to Earth, while he would be long dead. Alexander Alexandrovich Ignatiev, by far the oldest man among the starship's crew, thought that Nikki could have been the daughter he'd never had. Daughter? He snapped at himself silently. Granddaughter, he corrected. Great-granddaughter, even. He was a dour astrophysicist approaching his 140th birthday. His short-cropped hair and neatly trimmed beard iron gray, but his mind and body still reasonably vigorous and active thanks to rejuvenation therapies. Yet he felt cheated by the way the world worked, bitter about being exiled to this one-way flight to a distant star. Technically, he was the senior executive of this mission, an honor that he found almost entirely empty. To him it was like being the principal of a school for very bright, totally wayward children. Each one of them must have been president of their school's student body, he thought, accustomed to getting their own way and total strangers to discipline. Besides, the actual commander of the ship was the artificial intelligence program run by the ship's central computer. If Gregorian is a chessboard knight, Ignatiev mused to himself, then what is Nikki? Not the queen. She's too young, too uncertain of herself for that. Her assignment to monitor the navigation program was something of a joke. The ship followed a ballistic trajectory, like an arrow shot from Earth. Nothing for a navigator to do except check the ship's position each day. Maybe she's a bishop, Ignatiev mused, now that a woman can be made a bishop, quiet, self-effacing, possessing hidden depths, and reliable, trustworthy, always staying to the color of the square she started on. She'll cling to Gregorian unless he hurts her terribly. That possibility made Ignatiev's blood simmer. And me, he asked himself, a pawn, nothing more. But then he thought, maybe I'm a rook, stuck off in a corner of the board, barely noticed by anybody. Professor Ignatiev is correct, said Gregorian, trying to regain control of the conversation. The proper term is astrogator. Whatever, said Nikki, her eyes returning to Gregorian's handsome young face. Young was a relative term. Gregorian was approaching 60, although he still had the vigor, the attitudes, and demeanor of an obstreperous teenager. Ignatiev thought it would be appropriate if the Armenian's face were blotched with acne. Youth is wasted on the young, Ignatiev thought. Thanks to life elongation therapies, average life expectancy among the starship crew was well above 200. It had to be. The scoop ship was named Sagan, after some minor 20th century astronomer. It was heading for Gliese 581, a red dwarf star slightly more than 20 light-years from Earth. For Ignatiev, it was a one-way journey. Even with all the life extension therapies, he was sure that he would never survive the 80-year round trip. Gregorian would, of course, and so would Nikki. Ignatiev brooded over the unfairness of it. By the time the ship returned to Earth, the two of them would be grandparents, and Ignatiev would be long dead. Unfair, he thought as he pushed himself up from the plush banquette and left the lounge without a word to either one of them. The universe is unfair. I don't deserve this, to die alone, unloved, unrecognized, my life's work forgotten, all my hopes crushed to dust. As he reached the lounge's hatch, he turned his head to see what the two of them were up to. Chatting, smiling, holding hands, all the subverbal signals that